Hi, my name is Ram Nair. I'm originally from Chandigarh. I was born there. And then my family moved to Edmonton, Alberta, where my mom and dad, where my dad actually opened the first Indian store in that city and perhaps the province at that time. My mom was a school teacher. I have a sister, and for about the last 15 years I've been in Vancouver. So I actually was about 4 years old when my family migrated to Edmonton. And so I don't have a lot of memories about India, but the ones I do are all about family, all about my cousins and playing and games that we would play and so on, but very vague because I actually went to school, started my school in Edmonton at Alex Taylor Community School, which was a really, really unique school. So it was an inner city school, which you can imagine would be pretty tough, but had a really loving and caring staff. In fact, our principal won the Order of Canada for his work in the education field. So I feel very blessed to have been in that kind of environment. Laterally, junior high and high school, I went to a very unique high school also. It was based on academia and very small class sizes, so that was wonderful. I followed that by going to university and studying in the field of anthropology in the pursuit of an arts degree. Sport came to me sort of by mistake. We were visiting India one time and my grandmother gifted me a badminton racket. I think it was an attempt to stop me from running around the hallways at home there, and I came back, really didn't think much of it, but goofed around a little bit here and there. And then we had a very dear friend of ours in Edmonton that said, you know what, you're pretty good at this stuff. Maybe we should get you involved in the junior development program. And I wound up in a local private club that my family joined, and I started taking badminton lessons from Michael Chan, who became a great mentor to me. And through playing, though, what I discovered was that I actually loved coaching, because he would have me help with the younger kids as I got older. And then another great mentor that I had named David Fallsby got a hold of me and said, listen, I'm going to teach you how to coach. He was the executive director of Badminton Alberta, and I started my coaching career at a very young age under his tutelage. What started off as a fun summertime job wound up becoming a career, because originally I didn't plan it that way. I planned to go to law school and pursue that, but coaching sort of got in my blood. And as I said, my mom is a teacher, so I think teaching was one of those things that I really got a lot of joy out of. And some of the experiences that I had early on, seeing the happiness and the joy that you can create by giving somebody some positiveness in their life really got hold of me. And I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. So I amended my studies to pursue higher coaching educational services and studies on that level. And fortunately, the University of Manitoba had a National Coaching Institute, and I was able to pursue that to the highest level. So I'm a level 5 certified coach with a high performance coaching diploma, which are currently the highest levels that you can achieve in my field anyway. The next thing that happened was Badminton Canada asked me to start coaching some junior teams. So those were the first sort of international experiences I had, was to take national junior teams around the world. And the first competition for me there was the Pan American Junior Championships in Guadalajara, Mexico. So and again, I really enjoyed that experience, and I thought, hey, I can do this, and having a great set of mentors, as I've mentioned that I did, along with encouragement from our association, really vaulted me on that road. After that, I did some senior national teams, and then it was, the first senior national team I worked with was at the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, and just have never looked back. And since then, the covered 3 other Commonwealth Games, and as well as Pan Am Games, and a Youth Olympics, and the 2012 and 2016 Olympics in London and Rio, respectively. In 2008, I led a team to Pune, India for the World Junior Badminton Championships and the Youth Commonwealth Games. On that team were 2 young ladies, Alex Bruce and Michelle Lee. And because of the nature of the competition, they were juniors, and I'm not sure if they had big thoughts about their future career or not. But at that tournament, they actually wound up making the finals in the ladies doubles event at the Youth Commonwealth Games. I had a chat with them after, because they beat the number one seeds in pursuit of that, and I said, you know what, I think you guys could go to the 2012 Olympics. And if I was to tell you that was a really interesting moment, because both of those ladies in 2012 would make the semifinals of the Olympic Games, which is an unprecedented achievement for Canadian badminton players. So they got to do something that nobody yet has done, which is to play in 2 possible medal round games at the Olympics, and I got to coach them. And what a thrill to see juniors that you've worked with then achieving so much at the senior level. But you know, all medals and ceremonies and Olympics, Commonwealth Games, Pan Am Games, World Championships, all of those things put aside, the greatest satisfaction that I've ever had in coaching is from seeing somebody do something that they didn't believe they could achieve, and get that self-confidence, grow as a person. And really, if you ask me, that's why I do what I do. And long after, you know, the memories of Olympics may become faded, the fact that so many people have had a positive impact, or I've had an ability to have a positive impact on them, is what I think is the most rewarding part of a coaching career. I remember watching on television, a famous Indian badminton player named Prakash Padukone. And I was just a little kid at the time, and I watched him, and from that I drew this inspiration, like, if that guy can do something in sports, why can't I do something in sports? Now my path is different. My path is in coaching and not in playing per se, even though I played. But the interesting part about all of this is that I hope that if there's young people out there looking now, they can look at me and say, well, if that guy can coach, I can coach. Particularly when they get to see a Canadian of an Indian background who wears a turban and goes into Olympic ceremonies or wherever, and it doesn't even need to be Olympic ceremonies. It can be doing a clinic in a school, but just opening up new grounds for them to a non-traditional career, I think, for Indo-Canadians is an important factor for me. With all of those experiences that I've had over the years, one of the great things that I saw my dad do certainly was to sit there and write in a diary. And, you know, he'd be writing poems or he'd be writing stories, and it gave me an inspiration that maybe I could write too. And I'm very fortunate this year to have published a book called The Sport of Life, and really it's all of the lessons that I've learned through sport that apply to life. So in this next phase for me in my growth and as a human being, it's to share those messages with as many people that want to hear it. I'm very fortunate that people, I've been getting some great feedback. People read it and they go, you know what, I couldn't put it down. I read it in one plane flight. I read it in one go, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's simple to understand, because I really do feel that about life. Life should be simple. It shouldn't be complicated, and it can be if you learn your lessons well. So people always ask me, what's the book about? And the easiest way to do that is to share with you a couple of pages. He was quiet and shy and just tried to blend in, but that was precisely what made him stand out in the worst way possible. When he was in grade 1, boys wouldn't let him in the washroom because they said he looked like a girl. In grade 5, there was a bet among the grade 6 kids to see who could beat him up badly enough so that they'd have to go to the hospital. His first memory of grade 7 was of the grade 9s holding him down and spitting on him. No surprise that he started down a dark path, afraid of his own shadow, even quieter and more reclusive. He also began to doubt, to hate, and to harbor ill will. But then in grade 8, something happened. A teacher came along who told him he was perfect, just the way he was. Over time, he began to believe it and set about changing his life. He lost doubt and found hope. He abandoned hate and adopted love. Finally, he emerged from the darkness of his past and embraced self-acceptance. I scorned him, belittled him, but ultimately, I came to admire him and respect his uniqueness, and I realized that in the end, he is someone I cannot live without, for he is me.